FBI. Can I have your name, please?
Yes, my name's Zachary Hubbard.
Say Hubbard.
Yes, Hubbard.
And your phone number, please.
206.
And how can I help you?
Yes. Am I calling the Ohio branch of the FBI?
We're located close to Ohio. How can I help you?
Okay, I was trying to contact Ohio because today there's this headline that there's a suspected murderer in Ohio. His name is James Worley. It says the FBI is investigating.
What's his last name?
Worley, Worley. It's a mainstream story today. They say the FBI is investigating.
Okay, what news? Did you see it on the news or in the newspaper?
Yeah, I saw it on the news. CNN, MSNBC, these channels.
And around what time?
What time did I see it at? I'm in the West Coast. I probably saw the story 3 hours ago, so around noon.
Okay, so your Western time?
I'm on the West Coast. So what I'm calling...
Okay.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry. What'd you say?
Oh, nothing. You're on the West Coast, you said. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Washington State. So what I'm calling about is I was hoping to speak to someone who is involved in this investigation. Are you able
Okay,
to...
well, sir, what we do here, we take all the information down for the agents and provide them, with what's going on.
So the reason I clicked on the button as I went through the automated response menu before I was contacted with you is I was just following what menu item seemed most logical, and the button I clicked on was to report terrorism. Because what I am calling about is to find somebody honest in the FBI who will help reveal what I've been revealing 3 years. I'm an independent researcher, reporter, cluing people into what's really going on with this very manipulative media, and sadly, the entity you work for, the FBI. I don't think all of you are dishonest, but I know as an organization, you guys are very much a terrorist organization. The definition of terrorism originally was government by intimidation, and I know that the FBI and the media conspire to create propaganda storylines to scare the American people. From September 11th up to the reporting of James Worley, this supposed murderer in Ohio. Let me ask you something. Are you familiar with the language of gematria?
Sir, I just am a call center here.
So you work for the FBI, so you should know this. I'm going to tell you something about your employer right now, the FBI. When the FBI began, the head of the organization was J. Edgar Hoover, which I'm sure you're very much aware of. Are you aware of this?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
So his name is John Edgar Hoover. That's his full name. And in gematria, which is the practice of coding numbers into words, the name John Edgar Hoover sums to the exact same thing as United States of America. They both happen to sum to 102. In gematria, FBI also sums to 102. So do many other things that have been used to scare us over the years, including the boogeyman Al-Qaeda. Truth seeker. The FBI just hung up on me. You know, I guess she wasn't interested in fighting terrorism. So anyway, that was the introduction to this video, trying to reach out to the FBI. It doesn't look like I'm going to get a call back from the agent. I hope you guys could pick that up. My speaker was on speakerphone. It was as loud as I could make it. Their line's quiet. I've done that before with other calls in the past. You might have heard my call where I called the police department in Texas, the police department in Washington, D.C. on related hoaxes. Let's get through to everything I was about to educate her about before that fell apart. Look at this headline. Suspect in killing of Ohio student had hidden room with freezer, police say. So, here's a murder story coming out of Ohio. They like to use Ohio for their planned propaganda because it's a state with 47 gematria, and 47 is a building number for the Freemasons, for the Zionist Jews who control our government, who control media, who create this propaganda to scare us. Look at this. Ohio sums to the same thing as freezer, 47, 47. And the supposed killer is James Worley. James Worley, 47, just like the freezer, just like Ohio. This is how they contrive the stories, the detail of the stories by the numbers. This is a murder story. Keep in mind that Ohio is the 17th state in order of statehood. Kill equals 17. Here's supposedly James Worley, the possible serial killer. They're saying they definitely know he killed one young girl, a college student, and at his apartment they found blood in this freezer, panties, shackles, things that suggest he's possibly killed more. The media, if you pay attention to it, will throw stories at you like this maybe once every 3 months. And they're always coded to the teeth the exact same way. I have a number of videos like this. What I think this story is, besides propaganda meant to scare the masses, is I think it's also a subtle tribute to the Cleveland Cavaliers, who just won the NBA championship, who are just a little more than an hour away from where this happened. Notice they say that the killer is 57 years old. If you're new here, 57 is the number connected to sports championships. The Cleveland Cavaliers finished the regular season with 57 wins. I was saying all season the league was rigged for them. 57 regular wins, they go on to win the championship. If you write out 57 in gematria, it sums to the exact same thing. When I say that, I mean write it out as a word, 57. It sums to the same thing as championship, the same thing as Super Bowl. World Series equals 57, the baseball championship. So the killer's James Worley, 57. This is Ohio, not far from Cleveland, who just won the NBA Finals. Look at the name of the victim. Sierra Juheen? I've never seen Sierra spelled like this in my life. I've seen other variations of the spelling of Sierra, but never like this. I would wager that in the entire planet, there's probably not a single Sierra in the world with this real name spelling. They say she disappeared July 19th while riding a purple bicycle. Remember, purple has the same gematria as poison and program. The media is here to program people with fear. Another word for that is poison. The story comes out today, July 29th, 10 days after her disappearance, 10 days later. What's interesting about the date of the story coming out today is today has 72 numerology. The name of the victim in gematria sums to 72. I also noticed in this picture with the killer, 72 is prominent on the top of the screen. In the time I've been doing this work, I've had a lot of cryptic people leave cryptic messages saying I need to learn more about 72, because I guess it's this number that has all these negative qualities in the study of numbers. What I know is words such as world equals 72, money. We live in a money-driven world. The world should be a beautiful place, but it's been made into a very terrible place. You know, people like this FBI woman. She didn't even want to take the time to listen to me. I'm telling her the exact truth. I was going to tell her the whole truth about J. Edgar Hoover. She didn't want to hear it. Signs of the world we live in. When people reject truth, the world becomes more and more dark. That's what the powers that be want, building this dark world around us. A world of no truth, no courage. So today's news, it's also a date with a life lesson number of 45. The Cavs were established 45 years earlier before they won the championship. Possibly part of the reason. 27, remember LeBron scored 27 points in his final game. Nate Thurmond died 27 days later, who had his number retired with the Warriors and the Cavs, and who very likely is the father of LeBron James. Before Game 7 of the NBA Finals, before LeBron won with 27 points, there was the death of the actor Anton Yelchin at age 27. He had birth numerology of 103. 103 is the 27th prime number. LeBron James and the Cavs played their 103rd game of the season, winning Game 7, the NBA championship. LeBron, 27 points. If you haven't seen my work on the NBA Finals, there's a lot to explain. 27 goes back to the New Testament of the Bible, where there's 27 books. King James has a Bible named after him, the real King James. It was King James's birthday when LeBron James, nicknamed King James, won the NBA championship. It's also a date with 52 numerology. The Cavs, when they won, they broke the 52-year drought of no pro sports championships for Cleveland. 52, a number of prophecy. So again, the killer, 47, James Worley, 47. Next year will be the 47th season for the Cleveland Cavaliers. 47th season in Ohio. Probably a big year for the team. The Initials of the killer, JW. J's the 10th letter, W's the 23rd. Add 10 plus 23, it sums to 33. That's a number of Freemason obsession, a number of division, of false flag programming, such as what this story is. Also, Cleveland equals 33, so do NBA Finals. The Cleveland Cavaliers were the first team to come back from being down 3-1, the 33rd team to try. Cleveland's the only team in the league with a 33 gematria, or Cleveland the only city in the league with a 33 gematria. LeBron James was 31 years old, coming back from 3-1. Basketball in gematria equals 31. The big way, 85. We just saw Villanova win the championship for the second time, 31 years after their last championship, which was in 85. For some more 33, look at that spelling of Sierra. Sierra, the way they spell it's 33. That's how you know it's a hoax. The FBI established on a date with 33 numerology. Federal equals 33. Police equals 33. FBI, the first federal police force. Not here to do anything for we the people. I mean, you just saw it. Here was a we the people calling the FBI to drop some important information I got hung up on. We pay for these fucking people with our taxes. Here's what else is up with her name. Gematria of 72, like we said, and in simple English gematria, 144, which is a number directly connected to killing. If you go through the history of my work, I've talked about political assassinations, from presidents to leaders such as Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and so many more. Everybody dies by this number, 144. This is a number that has everything to do with death. Here it is coded into this ridiculous spelling of Sierra Jewin. Maybe that's what it is, Jewin. Some Zionist Jewin. Sierra Zionist Jewin. That must be it. Anyway, if you write out kill, it sums to 44. If you write out 44 with the mutilated spelling that it is in English, it sums to 144, just like when you write out April 4th, 4-4. The first president to die in office died on April 4th. Martin Luther King Jr. assassinated on that day. 44, 144, very much connected. JFK, the 44th term president, killed on the first day of Sagittarius. Sagittarius equals 144. He was also the 35th president. Catholic equals 35, only Catholic president. With regards to 44, what I call the kill number, if you add all the divisors of 44, all the numbers that divide into it, it sums to 84. And her last name, Jewin, sums to 84. Just like United States of America, this is propaganda for the nation by the numbers, as it always has been since the beginning of this nation. From the date the Cavs won the championship to the date of the news is 31 days. LeBron was 31, basketball 31, coming back from 3-1. The date she disappeared was a date with 42 numerology. LeBron James equals 42. NBA Finals also has gematria 42, Freemason 42, Zionism 42. Toledo, Ohio has that gematria of 118, just like death. Pretty sure that's where Gordie Howe died just before the NBA Finals concluded. There were multiple deaths in Toledo, Ohio during the time of the NBA Finals, talking about how it has that death gematria. Also, with regards to the thing about purple bicycle, purple equals the same thing as poison, the same thing as program. Purple bicycle equals the same thing as police. And almost every single time it is the police contriving these stories, working with the media, creating the scary narrative, and then maintaining the investigation, which is all bullshit. This is how they do it. The people in authority, we've given them too much power. They have complete control over us. This is what tyranny is. And don't try to call the FBI about it. You saw what'll happen. You get hung up on. Probably just got added to the no-fly list. Don't worry, I'm not trying to fly anyway. All that travel, it's all owned by these Masons and Zionists. So you can read the rest of this article. They give you all these details. If you want to decode them, it'll just code back to all the same numbers we already talked about. Like Freezer, Ohio, James Worley. All right, Truth Seeker, thanks as always for listening. Please help spread this information, wake people up. All the serial killers throughout the years, Jeffrey Dahmer, Charles Manson, so many of them, all by this exact same number code. It's always been fear and deception. It's why when I was a child, there used to be kids that played out at the park, but there's just been too much fear-mongering, too many Amber Alerts, And now you drive by the parks where kids my age, well, when we were kids, used to play, they're all vacant. All the kids are inside because the parents are scared, sitting in front of the TV, getting this negative programming. You know, they've been convinced by the TV the world's too scary to go outside, so now they just sit in front of the TV. Until next time.